I'm excited about this one. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the virtual stage some of Gotham's most colorful citizens. As Sofia Falcone, she was heiress of the Falcone crime family. Make some noise for Crystal Reed.
Hi.
Hello. Ecco was a Gotham original, as diabolical as she was loyal. Make some noise for Miss Francesca Root-Dodson.
Hi.
Mario Falcone tried to dodge the weight of his family name, but to no avail. Make some noise for James Carpinello.
Hey, how's it going?
And last but not least, Professor Pig is one of the most malicious henchmen to ever menace the city. Make some noise for Michael Cerveris.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. How's everybody doing today?
So
Great.
good.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. You guys look alive and well, which is fantastic. Obviously, the show was a little bit different for you guys as characters, but how are you guys holding up in this quarantine lifestyle? Everybody speak at once. The most honest statement of silence I've ever seen.
I think that pretty much covers it.
It really does. It really does. I can't even be mad at anyone. Crystal, how are you doing specifically today?
I'm good. I moved to New York a couple days ago, so it's been a weird whirlwind. But they just announced that anyone coming from California to New York now has to quarantine. So I just made it in time.
Good job.
But the energy here is really phenomenal, and I feel like New Yorkers are just kind of coming back to life, and it feels really great to be here. So I'm happy.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Francesca, how about you?
I mean, I don't know, just a day in the life, you know. I live in the middle of the woods, so mostly I'm living like the prairie life. I cook and I clean and I take care of my baby. So pretty much the exact opposite of what I was doing in Gotham.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
James, how about you, sir?
We've been holding up. I have 2 teenagers, so having kids at home with you all the time is challenging.
Well said. Very poetic, politically correct. I like that.
Hey, look, it's 1:00 in Los Angeles, and I'm not drinking yet because I have something to do today. So,
look, as Crystal sips real long, I'm not even mad at you.
That actually looks like some kind of fizzy wine, but it's not.
Yeah.
We're not testing anything. We're not questioning you. I'm not questioning anything. Michael, how about you?
I've been good. I'm in New York now. I was up in the mountains for a little while, kind of in May, I guess, but I'm back in town, and I've just been keeping busy learning to actually feed myself instead of getting other people to do it. That's been an exciting new challenge. I learned the kitchen for something other than putting takeout things on the counter, apparently.
Everyone needs to develop a new skill in this. So yeah. I totally appreciate that. Yeah. We've got people watching from Germany to Tennessee, Kansas to Romania. So we've got some questions that we're going to start rolling out to really kind of get you guys into it. First and foremost, were you guys fans of the show before you were on it? Michael, let's start with you. Awesome.
Yeah, I knew Danny Cannon. I did his student graduation film from film school in England. So I'd known Danny for years. So I was so excited when he started making it in the first place. Awesome. In fact, I auditioned for the show like early on, like for the pilot, and it took me 5 years to weasel my way onto the show finally.
You just needed the right role. The aim for perfection.
That's what Danny said, yeah.
Right? I mean, Professor Pig always goes for perfection, so I'm with that.
Exactly.
Francesca, what about you? Were you a fan of the show?
I mean, I honestly live under a rock, so I didn't know about the show, but that doesn't have anything to do with the show. I don't really know about any shows, you know? So I just got to have a fresh and new experience. You know?
Okay. The Falcone siblings, what do you guys got? You guys got some...
I hadn't watched it myself, but then, when I auditioned for the show, I was so blown away by I've told this story before, but they wrote an audition scene that was so beautifully written, and it's so rare that happens. Typically it's just, a short little clip of something that doesn't. This was a fully rounded piece that they had written, which actually never was intended to be used on screen, but it captured what they were looking for. And I was like, man, that was so fun. I got to act today. What a great piece that they wrote for this audition. And then when I got it, obviously went back and watched it. I was just blown away visually. It's just such a spectacular show. I hadn't seen anything like that on television. So
that's awesome. Crystal, what about you?
Yeah, I remember reading the pilot actually when I auditioned for it. And I thought, man, this is going to be such a gorgeous show to watch visually. I mean, the Gotham City really is a character in and of itself. And I think that was a huge thing because I love New York. It was a huge thing for me to really see. And then when I started watching the show, I'm a huge DC fan. So I loved it as well. And I think the new take on the characters was something that was really interesting to me. It's so well written. And just the tone I was really in love with.
Very well said. And actually, Crystal, Cara D. Zarel actually has a question for you saying, what's it like to play two DC comic characters since you have such a love?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's crazy. Both of them are such strong, phenomenal women that I try to just douse with humanity.
Nice.
And it was easy because I had a lot of really great references to go back to. I mean, for Swamp Thing, it's Alan Moore's run, which was awesome. And then Sofia Falcone, I don't know if you've seen her comic book version, but
yes. She's brutal.
She is. She's brutal. But I got to play something completely different and justify her murder spree and all that, and which was quite fun for me. But I think DC has been, it feels like family at this point. So it's nice.
Confession time. Raise your hand if you are a closeted nerd and you were into gaming, video games, or comics growing up. Okay. Yeah. Oh, look, James trying to play cool. Okay, I see you. I see you. Sure. Okay, so Brandy Wright has a question. Do any of you want to play another comic or sci-fi character in the future? That's a big question.
It is.
Yeah, because I'm definitely going to follow that with which one. So let's put you on the spot. We'll start with James. And which possible comic book or sci-fi character would you like to play?
You know what? I honestly wasn't a comic book fan as a kid at all. So I now having kids who are into comic books, and both of them are obsessed with the comic book movies, obviously. What would I want to play? I mean, the honest answer that comes to mind is if it were in like the Marvel universe. I did the Punisher before Marvel had
John and
had its the big Avengers resurgence. Right. And that was really, really fun. That was a super, that's a dark character and a dark piece. So something along those lines, I guess. And as I was going to say, the honest answer is anyone they would hire me for at this point, because they're so hugely successful.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. I'm with you on that one. If they were like, hey, we want you to play Thug number 6, and I'm like, I'm doing it. I get it. 100%. Francesca, what about you?
I mean, honestly, growing up, I loved Batman and then X-Men, and so that was the world that I was in. I mean, but I have to say that, like, Ecco, the character I played, we got to flirt with Harley Quinn, but I do feel like for me that was kind of the most perfect marriage. So I would love to just play, not have to pretend and change and do all that stuff, just to play Harley Quinn. And I'm like, or I love Catwoman, but I feel like Michelle Pfeiffer can never be topped. Catwoman,
that is fair.
I would never even try, but yeah, for me, Batman has always been the be all end all, because I need the dark. You know what I mean? I need the gothic. So I'm not a Marvel. Not a Marvel.
That's fair. No, we're DC friendly here. And actually Joker has a new love interest named Punchline that maybe could be a good antagonist against a Harley Quinn. So
yeah, I've heard there's a lot of, I follow a lot of the fans and their opinions. So it's a real mixed bag, but maybe she'll come into her own,
Sounds good. Michael, what about you?
Well, I kind of have a toe in the Marvel universe from Ant-Man and Wasp, in which I played Elias Starr, who in the comics eventually becomes Egghead.
Yes.
So I would love for that to actually happen.
Let's just send that up to the Disney gods right now.
So that would be pretty fun.
Awesome. Chris, do you have another one that you would want to play?
I want to play anything with prosthetics. I honestly, like, I am always surrounded by, I'm always in projects where everyone else gets to have fun and literally become someone else. And I'm always the grounded character. And I come from theater, so I like costumes and being able to physically morph like Michael. Like
you say that until you're in a makeup chair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll do it.
Talk to us.
It's all awesome from afar. That's the way that works.
Yes, I'll do it. I would do it a million times over. I'll do it for 2 weeks. That's all.
There you go. Solid two. Brian Mayer wants to know, what was the scariest or hardest part of working on Gotham? Let's see. Who can we start with? Go ahead, James.
So all the way back to, I'm trying to think where the first time I saw him, but John Doman is just such an amazing actor. And obviously knowing him from television well before Gotham. And then when I started watching Gotham, when I got the job, that was scary to me because he's so scary on screen. He's such a lovely guy. He could not be nicer, but that first day when I was working with him, I was like, ooh. Had that little tickle, like yeah. But other than that went away in like 20 seconds because he's lovely. But
get that initial though.
That was a little scary. He's a tough cookie.
Michael, what about you?
I think it's always your first day as a guest person on a show is always terrifying because you just don't want to get in their way. You don't want to be the reason why things get messed up or they're they don't make their day or whatever. So there's that regardless. And then on top of it, to be doing a character that so many fans have very passionate feelings about. Yeah. So living up to what the fans are going to expect, even though they expect something different from this show in particular. But that's a lot of weight that I think all of us carried every time we, started on the show. Nice. So I think those things, and then, add that to my first scenes were with Ben and Donald, who again, couldn't have been nicer, more supportive, helpful people, but you just want to in some way be as good as all the people you admire going into it are, and hope that they'll ask you back for the next day.
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Crystal. Go ahead.
No, I agree with you, Michael. I think the scariest part for me was also coming into a show where I admired so many people and felt a lot of pressure to be and do something, but it was actually really easy. I think I was surprisingly welcomed with like such huge arms, and it felt nice and collaborative. And I think also as a woman, sometimes I try to lead with grace, but oftentimes I feel like I can't speak my truth creatively on set. That's shifting a lot, but I felt so like the space was held for me to be creative in any way I wanted to, in terms of working with the producers and the writers and directors, and just being able to really give Sofia the depth that I thought she needed. So it was the scariest thing for me, but certainly not the hardest. It was actually, to my surprise, really easy. So I'm really grateful for that.
Nice. Very nice. Francesca?
When I first came on it, I thought I was just going to be on for one day. I originally auditioned as a Russian. It just seemed like some little thing. So I kind of like blew and I didn't know my lines. I just kind of like fudged my way through it. But then my manager was like, I think they're going to try to make you the Harley Quinn character. And I was like, he's like, you should work on that. I was like, they're not going to.
You're crazy.
Work on it until somebody pays me, But he was really, they're going to do it. And then he was right. And so that's when I spent a lot of time working on that, because my character just has this incredible transformation. It just goes like, So I really wanted to get it right because I know that fans are like so into that character, and I know that recently that character has gotten some really bad press. You know what I mean? There's a lot of conflict. So I just really wanted, like Michael said, like Crystal said, I really wanted to do it right, but try to do something new. So that was a lot of pressure, and honestly, it was like just a chance that I feel like it worked out. You know. So.
Nice, very nice. I hope I don't butcher this name. Deli Telia wants to know if you could change something from your character's journey other than their ending, what would it be? And Francesca, let's start with you. Obviously, there was a lot that you had to do there.
I mean, honestly, I just wanted to like get more time to do more crazy things. You know what I mean?
You enjoyed the crazy?
Oh God, I just love that stuff, man. You know, psychos, drug addicts, that's basically who I get cast as. And so yeah, I just wanted I just want another season, you know? But I feel like I'm so grateful that I got to do what I wanted, but just like more body, bigger body count, you know, more monologues, stuff like that.
This is a true sign that you are alone a lot these days. I'm just get you out of the woods, bring you back here, because that's what that sounds like. Yeah. Crystal, what about you?
I don't know that I would change anything about her journey. I think it was pretty cool. I think it would be nice to see more of her family dynamic. Just to understand what makes her the person she is. But I don't know, it might be a really boring answer, but I think I really liked her journey.
Nice. James?
You know, it was such an interesting, like Michael was saying, when you come onto something in the beginning, you're very nervous and you don't want to screw that up. And they were so clear with me about, which is so rare. Typically it's like you'll do, like Francesca was just saying, you'll do one, maybe they like you, they'll say you want to do another, and then maybe you do one later. They were like, okay, we want you to do 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. And I'm like, I'm dying. Eventually I'm dying. I guess I had such a great time. I mean, everything I did was, other than John every once in a while, was with Ben and Morena, and they were awesome. I've known Morena through sort of Joss Whedon world with my wife, so we sort of had a little, familiarity before we started. I guess just they do table reads, which is so lovely. It's so rare, also, that TV shows do that. So you get to see all these other people, and I mean, I would have loved to have worked with Robin or Drew or Corey, any of these other characters that just it wasn't in the cards for me to sort of interact with them, but they're also nice to get to play in that world a little bit. But.
Very, very nice. Michael?
I would kind of echo that. I think I don't think there's anything that I would change. I would just sort of want to add to it. The whole Dollatron world of Professor Pig was something that I think a lot of the fans were hoping to see, or curious to see if that was going to be a part of it. And I think that would have been cool, if that had worked into the story. It just wasn't part of the story that they were telling.
Right.
And I did have the feeling that everybody has when they die on the show. It's like, well, anybody can come back on this show. Like,
that's right.
They just put you in the pool, and some people actually do.
Exactly.
I kept figuring, well, we know that I have all these like titanium implants in my face to change my face. So just the fact that I was shot square in the face doesn't necessarily mean.
Yeah. Now, the air in Gotham works differently. If there was anything I could have asked for, it would have been another musical episode.
Oh my gosh, with you guys. Michael was you were so good in that dining room scene. Yeah, that was a fucking day though.
That was a imagine day. Yeah.
But I remember watching you and thinking, oh my God, I don't have the balls. You're so good in it.
Well, but you
so
also,
great.
But you were
I'm not fishing for compliments.
No, but I'm serious. You it's one thing to sort of have all this juicy stuff to do and just not screw it up, and that's a challenge enough. But you are carrying a real emotional weight in that scene, and and a horribly difficult one, and I marveled that whole day that you, every time that you needed it, it was there, and that to me was remarkable. Really.
Thanks.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's a love fest.
It's a love fest.
Yeah, I definitely would have wanted to see James do some musical action too. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I have to say this because I sort of had to do this when you guys were, and it always in these Comic-Con type things when you say you're not a comic book fan, they're like, but when I found out, and we have met Michael through Neil when you guys did Sweeney Todd. Yeah. But let me tell you, I grew up, a huge, and then ended up going into school for this and then doing a few of those shows in New York. But musical theater fan, and I remember seeing Tommy. It was my junior year of high school, I think, Christmas time, and I just was so blown away. So when I was out in the panel with him, I was like, oh, like, that's my comic book. So that works. This is such a great day for me as I get to do a panel with Michael.
Is fantastic. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's the musical episode we needed.
Yeah,
James exactly. Y'all just dance it out. That would be fantastic. Gina Marie from Dallas has a question for you, Michael. She says, from Sweeney Todd to The Observer to Professor Pig, you often play very dark roles. What do you love about playing these types of characters? And P.S., she says hi.
Hi. It is true. I mean, I keep trying to tell people that like I can be funny if you just give me a chance, or I could maybe get the girl instead of killing the girl every time. But nobody
you are really good at killing the girl though.
Well,
like that's
I guess
such a weird skill.
But from the time I was little, I was a big comic book fan. I was also a big monster movie fan, and and especially the old black and white Universal Dracula and Creature from the Black Lagoon and Phantom of the Opera and all those. But I always kind of sympathized with the monsters because in most cases they were the way they were through sort of no fault of their own. Like King Kong didn't ask everybody to come to his island and, drag him back to New York. And Frankenstein didn't ask to be put together. And so I always sort of had a weird soft spot in my heart for these misunderstood, marginalized characters. And so I've always enjoyed and welcomed the chances that I had, like Crystal was saying, to give a soul and a heart and a humanity to people despite their, evil side. I mean, that's your job as an actor anyway, is to fight your character's point of view. Nobody thinks they're the villain of their own story.
Very true.
So I think I do relish the opportunities that I get to do that. And I guess, people think that's what I should be doing. So
nice. Very nice. And you do it so well. Cara D. Zorel has come back and said, question for everybody. Would you like to live in Gotham City? And they say sending love from Brazil. Oh. Yeah. Would you live in Gotham? This Gotham, we'll say this era Gotham, not, later with the bat infestation, because that gets a little rodential. But let's start with that. Crystal, would you live in Gotham?
It's pretty gray. I mean, is there ever sun? It's pretty gray and tonal.
Yeah, it's forever nighttime.
I need some sunlight.
And hazy.
A lot of smoke, yeah.
There's some sunlight and flowers. Yeah, there's a lot of
it's very industrial, super industrial. All right, so that sounds like a general no. Like, no.
Are there suburbs of Gotham maybe that are a little greener?
I mean, the Palisades. Yeah. I was gonna say the Palisades, where Wayne Manor kind of is. I wouldn't mind living out in that area. That would be pretty good. Let's see. A lot of people are asking if all of the favorite parts of playing a villain. Oh, yeah, that is a good point. Okay, so loving to play, more of the darker characters. Is that something that is kind of in a far, reversal of who you are? Or is there a little bit about you that you're like, yeah, I'm kind of that person? Let's come on, admit it. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Crystal smiles, so I'm already feeling some Sofia right now. I'm pretty in touch with my shadows. I think it's, I can only speak for myself, but certainly the deeper that I go within myself and to the things I don't want to look at, the more I feel like my work gets better. And maybe that's because I can relate better to them. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I think, a lot of characteristics that Sofia and I share. I've never killed someone, so that was a great alibi. I love the way she just slipped that in real quick. That ever comes up, nope, I've never done it. Check Wizard World, I said so. Well done.
Yeah, but I'm definitely, I've got a whole slew of emotions within me that I feel like are not always pretty.
Okay. In the family line, James, what about you? How do you feel?
I was thinking when Michael was talking about how people cast him and see him, and the issue of whether you're funny or you could do other things. And like you said, from early on, not necessarily in theater so much, but certainly on television and film, I was always cast as a, blue collar Italian New Yorker, mobster, criminal. And I was always like, I am from New York, but I grew up in upstate. My dad's a lawyer. My mom's a doctor. I'm not really like, I could do other things. And I would always be like, well, why can't I get seen for this or do this? And then just a little funny story. One day my agent, I was arguing about why I couldn't get seen for something. And he said, are you at your computer? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, go to your email. And I get on my email, and he had sent me my reel, which is like me character after character being like, the fuck you talking about? It fucking is.
And they're like, that's
going to somebody's head, and they're like, there you go. That's why.
You're like, point made. Okay.
Yeah,
I hear you.
point made. Okay. So,
Francesca?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was always told growing up that I was weird, and I would really try. I was like a really weird kid, and so, but then when I got older, I would try to, my acting teacher would be like, you're fucking weird, man. I'm not weird. Like, but I didn't get cast as like the straight man, and so I guess I'm happy to just go where it's warm, I don't know why that's what I get cast as, but I'll take it because it's also just really fun. But yeah, I've never played a romantic lead ever,
Okay.
So, but maybe that'll happen someday.
I'm writing some Gotham fanfic. I'll change all that. Don't even worry about it. Michael, what about you?
I think
you did kind of say.
I do identify with aspects of all the characters I've played. And I mean, you have to, you find, like Crystal was saying, you find those shadow places in yourself and you give yourself access to them. I think in some ways it helps, it's free therapy, if nothing else. You just work out all of your darkest impulses in a controlled way that benefits society more than harms it. And then you can be nicer when you're home with, people who are nice to you. So I think, and I guess maybe I have for some reason, a tendency to connect with those kinds of people in life when I meet them, and those parts of myself too. So when the character kind of comes along that matches those things, it does make it easier. I like James, I've had frustrations at times and thought, why can't I be Matthew Broderick? I really wanted to be Matthew Broderick early in my career. And why can't I be that guy? I don't have to be the romantic lead, but just like the nice guy that people like to have around. But
I think you can.
Yeah. Never say never. This is just a point in time, not the end at all. Yeah. AJ Pangalo asks, did you guys wish that you could have survived to see Batman show up and have your characters interact with them?
I mean, Sofia's just unconscious.
That is true.
Dead.
However, with the series being over, if she wakes up now, it's kind of weird, but it's still hopeful, still up there. Definitely. Yeah, let's. What do you guys think? Would Professor Pig still be as beneficial of a villain against Batman?
I think so. I think he would, rise to the occasion. He certainly, makes a habit of upping his game whenever he gets the opportunity. So, true. I think he'd be all in.
Nice.
And I think arrogantly he would assume that they were on the same level. Yeah.
Of course. Francesca, what about you?
I mean, I feel like all I care about was just Cameron Monaghan. You know what I mean? So if he was excited that Batman was around, I would be so excited. But that's just all that I care about.
Okay, that's fair. James,
I'd say for sure, but I think it also goes back to how it was structured. Where you asked what I would have liked to have changed is that, again, to interact with more of the characters on the show. So I feel like, I don't know what that path would have been, but of course, sure.
Nice.
I mean, I had so much fun working on that show that I didn't, even though I knew, like I said earlier, when they tell you like 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, and then done, you're pretty much sure what's going to happen. I didn't want it to end though. And then I got to go back after I was dead, which was really nice to go back and see everybody. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So yes.
So I think we have time for about one more question, and this one's coming from Gotham I 908. Which Gotham actor was your favorite to work with, and why, specifically for Francesca working with Cameron?
I mean, well, because he's so dedicated. He is like a straight up method actor, and I am the exact opposite of him, where I like don't know my lines, I'm just kind of winging it. But I think what happened is that because I can find intensity through spontaneity and he finds it through preparation, it kind of like made this. So some really wild things happened in the scenes we were together. And I think it was really good for the storyline and the fans. So yeah, I mean, he's amazing. He's really talented.
Really well said. Crystal, what about you?
Robin, for me, there's certain, I feel like I always want to, I don't want to be the best. Like I always want to be the actor that I just like learning from people who are great. And he really just, I felt so elevated when I was working with him. He like made such fucking brilliant, bold choices in every single take. And they were always different that I felt like this crazy spontaneity and like creative bubble that always came up when I was with him. And also he's just so genuinely kind that I was like, oh my God, he's a dream actor to work opposite for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. James, what about you?
I gotta give a 50-50 to Ben and Morena. I mean, I was with them the whole time. I found Ben to deal with the amount of work he had to do and how present he needed to be at all times. Very, very inspiring. Sometimes number one gets a little crazy in those situations, and I thought he was really. I really loved working with him. And Morena is she's spectacular. I mean, John Doman. I'm going 33. I'm not giving any solid answers.
Splitting the love.
Let me go 25. 20. Did I get 4 of those in there?
Yeah.
Benedict Samuel was incredible to watch when he filmed that stuff. He, as the Mad Hatter or whatever, he was unbelievable to watch.
Nice. Very nice.
So,
and Michael?
Well, I would probably go 50-50 between Ben and Robin. Ben for the leader, quarterback, and he was on that first day, like we were talking about. He was so supportive and made me feel so welcome and so at ease. And he's such a grounded human and actor that it made a lot of those scenes so much easier and made my entrance into the show so much easier. And then Robin, for all of the reasons that Crystal was describing, is just an inspiration. And, I had to have funny voices and beards and a pig mask to even begin to compete with what he was doing with like a little prosthetic nose. And that was about it.
Nice. That's awesome. Before we get out of here, one last thing. Wailing Woman wants to know, and without, revealing too much, raise your hand if you took anything from set. Okay. All right. We won't discuss what they were. That'll be something for another time.
No, I just remembered.
He just remembered, like, and I still have it. Someone's going to wear something today because they took it from set. That is absolutely going to happen. I want to thank you guys so very much for joining us. Look at it's the tie. Do you wear that in public?
Huh?
Do you wear that in public?
No, just around the house.
Okay. That might make it creepier. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. We're going to have to figure that out. But thank you guys so very much for joining us. I hope everyone that's watching at home had a phenomenal time. Let's give some love to these wonderful, wonderful actors because you guys are fantastic fan faves, and we enjoyed spending all this time with you. So to Crystal, Francesca, James, Michael, thank you guys so very much. Till next time. We'll see you guys later. Enjoy. And for you guys, please don't forget to the fans watching live or watching later on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, check out these paid exclusive experiences like one-on-one private video chats, autographs, and custom video recorded messages at wizardworldvirtual.com. You guys can actually get all these things right now, and you can actually have until Friday, which is 6/26 at midnight, to sign up for some private video chats with these wonderful guys. So one more time, thank you guys for joining us. You guys were fantastic, and we can't wait to see you again. Much love to you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Hey, this is Alex Malari Jr., and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Your Emperor commands it. Thanks for watching.